This is the sickening case of the killer house party. It was summer 2011 in Florida. Tyler Hadley had been telling his friends that his parents were out of town. On the afternoon of July the 16th, Tyler posted on his Facebook, "Party at my crib tonight, maybe." He followed this up at 8 p.m. by posting, "Party at my house, hit me up." A friend, Ashley, asked, "What if your parents come home?" "They won't," he replied, "trust me." Partygoers reported that Tyler seemed very anxious at the party, but it was hard to tell whether this was just nerves or substances. During the evening, there was reportedly 60 people at the party. People were smoking inside, smashing bottles, and just generally trashing the place. In the weeks prior to this party, Tyler had apparently made a sick comment to one of his friends. He said he wanted to kill his parents and have a big party after. He said, "Nobody has ever done that before, kill their parents and then have a party with the bodies still in the house." The evening went on and eventually people started leaving. As Tyler's friend Mark Andrews was leaving the party, Tyler said he had something he wanted to say to him. He said, "Dude, I did some things. I might go to prison. I might go away for life. I don't know, dude. I'm freaking out right now." Mark told him, "Don't be telling me that sort of thing. I don't need to know." It transpired that Tyler's relationship with his parents had become strained, and at one point as a punishment they'd taken his phone off him. In a sick plot of revenge, after Tyler's parents returned home from work that day, he took their phones off them and locked the dog in the closet. Shortly before 5 p.m, Tyler reportedly took 3 pills and then stood behind his mum, Mary Jo, while she worked on the computer. Sickeningly, he then attacked her with a hammer. As his dad ran to see what was happening, Tyler then attacked his dad with a hammer too. He then dragged their bodies to the master bedroom. He then funded the party that he hosted at the house with his dead parents' credit cards. Apparently, several partygoers had noticed a bad smell in the house that evening. It's reported that Tyler actually told several of his friends that evening what he had done. One of the friends decided to report this to police after the party. Tyler was sentenced to life in prison, and in 2015, the family home was demolished.
A few more developments in the Idaho case. Kaylee's dad's attorney came out and said that none of the kids knew the suspect. Sometimes when interviewing witnesses, you have to get into word games. If you know somebody in real life, you know them. If you're friends on Facebook but you've never met them, do you know them? And lastly, say if you're on a dating site and somebody messages you and you message them back, do you know them? My second thought is, as a 21-year-old student, how much information did you pass on to your parents on daily conversations? Like if you had a 10-second in-passing conversation with the suspect and he made a pass at you and you told him to get bent, would you tell that to your parents? The bar owner in Pennsylvania went out of his way to make a note saying this guy could be a problem because he just didn't know when to quit. I've said before, I think the main target was Kaylee, based on the severity of her injuries, and the suspect was so careless in the room where she was in that he dropped the knife sheath, and that could have been from rage or excitement. Have you noticed no girlfriends have come forward with this guy? I think this rage has been building for a long time. She may have politely declined online, and this was the result. The second piece of information the attorney gave. According to the family's attorney, the suspect was so close to the kid's house that their Wi-Fi showed up on his phone. This is where we get into an area I don't know a lot about. When you go by any Wi-Fi, does your phone log that Wi-Fi? Because that would be thousands, like in a day. Or like a lot of college kids, did they not have a password on their Wi-Fi and anybody could use it? So like when you're at McDonald's or Starbucks and your phone realizes there's a free Wi-Fi and it asks you for it, does it log it then? I think that case is more probable, but I don't know technical forensics currently. But it goes to show when he was making those late night recon trips, he was looking in their windows. Motion sensor lights outside the house are never a bad idea. I have some in my Amazon store that are wireless and solar. And as a reminder, always draw your blinds and curtains when the sun goes down. It makes it really easy to see inside. I'm still putting my true crime podcast over on here. Please give me a follow on that platform. My next podcast out will be part 2 of The Zodiac. You can find all my links at killerbtactical.org. That's killerbtactical.org.
If your wife is missing, why would you Google how to dispose of a woman's body? 39-year-old Anna Walsh was last seen leaving her Cohasset, Massachusetts home around 4 a.m. on New Year's Day. There hasn't been any cell phone or bank activity since that day, and she hasn't been seen or heard from again. Anna shares the home with her husband Brian and their 3 kids. Just one day after she disappeared, Brian was caught on security footage at Home Depot buying $450 worth of cleaning supplies, maps, and a tarp. Anna wasn't reported missing until January 4th from both her husband and her employer after she failed to show up to work. When investigators searched the home, they found a broken knife and blood in the Walsh's basement. During the investigation, authorities were sent to a waste facility in Peabody, which is about an hour away from the family home. During their search, they found a hacksaw, a hatchet, and a bloody rug. Also found was a garbage bag containing blood as well as human tissue, all believed to be connected to Anna's disappearance. After looking into Brian, police discovered that after Anna went missing, he Googled, quote, how to dispose of a 115-pound woman's body, end quote. Just a few days ago, Brian was arrested and charged with misleading the police investigation into the disappearance of his wife, and he has since pleaded not guilty. He's currently being held on a $500,000 bail. This is not the first time that Brian has had run-ins with the law. In 2021, Brian pleaded guilty to charges related to an attempt to scam someone in LA using fake Andy Warhol paintings. Because of that, Brian was placed on home confinement, which was still taking place up until his recent arrest. Adding to that, he was also at the center of an ongoing dispute over his late father's will. His family members accused him of destroying the document and wrongly taking over his father's estate. According to Anna's mom, Anna had texted her on Christmas and said, quote, please mama, come tomorrow, end quote. Anna's mom said that she and Brian loved each other, but this seemed to allude to some problems, although Anna didn't mention exactly why she wanted her mom to come so urgently. According to her, Anna also recently mentioned her frustration with Brian's home confinement. This forced her to temporarily live alone in a Washington, D.C. home that Anna also owned. Anna worked a lot in Washington, D.C. and would often visit the home. Anna reportedly tried calling her mom around midnight on the night she went missing, as well as once more an hour later, but her mom was sleeping and missed the call. Right after, she also tried calling her sister and a friend, but they also missed the call. A friend of the Walshes has come forward and stated that he spent New Year's Eve with a couple and has said that there was no indication of any tragedy or trouble. But it's now been 10 days since Anna was last seen. This is an ongoing investigation, so hopefully more answers will come to light soon.
The Idaho suspect had access to police body cam videos the whole time, and real-time monitor surveillance cameras. That's the headline. Keep reading. When I first read this, I was like, well, it's a different university, so it's a different police department. It's even another state. Because my first concern was he was monitoring the videos when officers were walking through the scene, and possibly any follow-up investigation. And then I read that research lab also gets feeds from 5 other police departments. And if you skip and read all the way to the bottom, Moscow's not one of them. And if you want to know how it works as an officer, all those videos are public record. But if they're connected to a case, they're evidence. And at the end of our shift, after every run, which are all recorded, you have to label and explain what each video is. And the ones that are still part of cases aren't released to the public until the case is adjudicated. This video is mainly for rumor control, but it is a little unsettling he could stalk students at Pullman over the video.
If you've been paying attention, you know that Bryan Kohberger was seen in court this morning with scratches on his face. Most news sources are saying that these are from shaving. And do I deny that this could be true? Absolutely not. But do I think it was an accident? I don't think so either. Because even with the cheap razors that they provide you in prison, why wouldn't a 28-year-old man know how to shave his face without getting a few cuts? And these aren't like tiny little nicks. If you've seen my other TikToks, you know that I have a theory that Bryan tried to set this whole thing up to look like the perfect crime, so that there would be enough evidence to know that it was him that did it, but not enough to convict him. That I think his whole motive behind that is to expose our flawed justice system. So I think it's possible that he put these cuts on his face himself as a way to either get some type of sympathy vote from the public, or just to show us once again how flawed our justice system is, by showing us the violence that happens inside our correctional facilities.
Shadows so hard to see when I'm waiting for your love. Crying myself to sleep, searching my head to find the roots, thinking what we could be. While you're waiting for my love, so to know, are you with me now? Are you with me now, my love? So to know, are you with me now? Are you with this?
From the office of the governor, all pleas for clemency are hereby denied. Prepare. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now! Justice has been served.